Hi guys, welcome to Go High Level Open Lab brought to you by Apex Initiative. My name is Jackie Durbin and I'm super excited for this week's tutorial. What we're going to talk about is things that you really probably don't need. Now, while this tutorial is specifically geared towards real estate agents, this can work for any type of business that you're running. One of the things I want to talk about is unnecessary platforms. If you are using Go High Level, there are certain platforms that you can eliminate from your monthly expense sheet. And specifically, we're going to talk about StanStore and Kajabi. Don't get me wrong, I love both platforms. However, if you are using Go High Level, these are two things that you can actually eliminate. For those of you who are new, my name's Jackie. I'm the founder of Go High Level Open Lab. And what I do is I actually help people inside of their Go High Level platform, specifically for real estate agents. But again, I've helped lots of different businesses be able to really automate their business with the entire idea of getting back a little bit of your freedom. So today, what I want to talk about is things that you don't need. For example, if you have StanStore or Kajabi, guess what? You do not need them. And the reason why is because the platforms are very similar. For example, I at one time did have a StanStore. It's where I had all my downloadables. I did have Kajabi. That was where I had a lot of my online courses that I would sell. And the one thing that I noticed was while these platforms were extremely friendly, they were also costly and it was an unnecessary cost. Another thing was it added additional steps because if I was using these platforms, they were not talking to my CRM. So all of those people I would have to manually move in or just create a webhook inside of my Go High Level to zap them in. And so, guess what? If you have Go High Level, you can take these exact same products, put them into Go High Level. It's one login. Your buyer's going to land in, it's going to automatically give them access. And that's what I want to talk about today. So, what actually counts as a product? In this specific case, we're talking about any type of downloadable. Maybe it is a buyer guide. Maybe it's a seller guide. Maybe it is a guide that you're given to FSBOs. These do not have to be products that you're actually charging for. They can actually be products that are also given to free. You could also be a course. Maybe it is a course in first time home buying. Maybe this is a piece of value that you're giving to people to be able to build that trust and show your expertise in a specific thing. Maybe you're a real estate agent who really thrives using social media. So you have created a course to teach other real estate agents your same craft. Now, you may be charging for that, which is totally fine. Maybe you have coaching. Maybe you're actually sitting down with someone else who's in the same field as you, or maybe in a complementary field, and you're teaching them what you're doing and helping them along the way. All of these things count as products inside of your Go High Level system, and you're able to go ahead and sell those that way. Now, a few things that are worth selling could be, again, a first time home buyer checklist. I have on here $17. What I have found is that numbers like seven really just help out because it's not really $20, it's 17, it's not just 10, so it actually feels like it's valuable. You could also have mini courses. It could be something as simple as setting up a search. You could have a course for first time people who are in your industry, something where you're actually providing value. It could also be strategy calls. So when you're inside of Go High Level, you're going to go to your payment section over on the left-hand side of your column. You're going to grab products and then you're going to add a product. One thing I always tell people is name them what they actually are. Don't make it like something super extravagant, but also make sure that you know exactly what you're talking about. Also, when you're doing that, make sure that you're setting up that pricing. Is this going to be one time or reoccurring? So if you're creating a subscription, know that you can put that as a reoccurring. The other thing is all of the files. So let's say it is an actual PDF downloadable. You're going to go ahead and attach that there. So that way everything is given the moment that they are checking out. Now, one thing that you want to do is not make more work for yourself. So if you already have a site, whether it's a website or a funnel, you can go ahead and add that check-in in there because you now have this product. Now, the one thing I talk to a lot of people about because they question is when they put it in there, Even though they're adding their product, it still says dynamic item. Guess what? It's going to say that regardless. When you actually save and go to view, that's where you're going to see the name of that product. Make sure that you are putting those things in there because, again, when you create that product and you give it that name, that's the name that's going to show up on that product line. Okay. Next up, creating the workflow. So this is one thing that I see a lot of people that they actually create it wrong. So what they say is they say, "Hey, my trigger is send this once the order has been submitted." And that is a no-no. Because what if they submitted the order and then their payment was not successful? So when you are saying the trigger is they ordered this product, also say, "And the payment is successful." You also want to have a separate workflow set up where they've bought this product, but the payment has failed. So you want to make sure that you're not losing out on any type of people who maybe had issues with their card or the site, or maybe it was just not working at that moment. Maybe they had a fraud alert on their card, so they're going to have to call and have that fixed. And then also, you want to make sure that you are not giving items to people who their payment has actually failed. Make sure that it is one workflow for every single product. This is where we're talking about making sure that the purchase was actually successful, because the last thing you want to do is give someone something that cost a specific amount of money and they get it free and they didn't even pay for it. So you're going to want to make sure that you have that on there. The next thing is make sure that there are actions that actually send it. Okay. So the whole point of this is creating the freedom. That's one of the nice things that I think a lot of people find with StanStore and Kajabi is it just automatically gives them access once their payment is successful. And so inside of GoHighLevel, because we have that workflow set up, right? The trigger is the order was submitted, the payment was successful. Now we're going to actually give them that item. Now, if this is a downloadable, obviously we're going to go ahead and send the email with that link, or we're going to send the email with that actual item, whatever it is. Maybe it's going to be included as a PDF. And then you want to also add the tag that those people have actually purchased it. Because now what you can do is create a new workflow that goes out, let's say, a week after they've purchased it, and follow up with them. If you have created an AI agent who is cloned to talk and respond like you, the cool thing is these text messages that go out to them that says, "Hey, have you gotten into the course yet?" If they say, "Yes, I have, I really liked section one," guess what? It's going to talk like you and it's going to reply to them. Now, some people may say, that's kind of shady. No, it's not, because what it does is it allows you to view the conversation, but not be a part of every conversation until there's an actual escalation that requires you to get in there. The other thing is make sure that you run a test before you launch any of this. Okay. So inside of GoHighLevel, there's always a thing where you can say, "Hey, let's run this test just to make sure." Put your own email, put your own phone number in there. So that way you can go ahead and confirm that everything is running smoothly and the way that you want it to. That way, if there's an issue with the link, check the links. Make sure that the link is showing, that it's showing the format that you want, that it's actually eye catching, and things like that. The next thing is every single thing should be delivered. So remember, I told you that every single product should have its own workflow. What you're going to do is you are going to make sure that all of those are copied. Now, if you're selling a course, make sure that now, once they have paid, it is successful, that you've actually granted access. That's one of the next steps that you can have inside of your workflow. So it'll say grant access to a specific membership. Now, if you're like, "Jackie, where do I put my memberships?" Your memberships are actually also in your GoHighLevel on the left-hand side. You can create a community. Inside of that community, you can say, "Hey, if you're in this stage, like let's say you're a VIP member, that means you get access to everything." So when you're creating those courses, you can actually add them into your community where everyone has one spot where they can communicate with each other. They can see lives that you're doing, maybe that's offered to everyone. But then you can also make specific courses that are available based on the type of membership that they have been granted. If you are selling coaching one-on-one, the cool thing is you can go ahead and grant them access now to that specific calendar. So that way they're able to go ahead and book with you. They're creating the appointment. And again, what this does is it allows you to have freedom to either be able to prospect more, to get more clients into your GoHighLevel, so that way you can create more revenue with your products, but it also allows you to let them have a little bit of accountability, and you're not going back and forth trying to schedule things. Because everything in that product is going to have the exact same trigger, these are going to also run smoothly. And again, this is just a reminder that all of your products, each and every single one of them, should have their own workflow, and it's super easy to just duplicate that workflow and then change out what you need. Maybe it's, instead of ordering this specific product, take that product out, add the one that you want, and then everything else is going to stay the same. What this is going to do is ensure that all of your delivering goes out, that it's not all in one big thing that's all messy. This is going to be super clean and easy to work through. Now, because you have one product, one order form, one workflow, no separate platform, because now everything is connected. You're not going to have to go into this platform and grab these people. You're not going to have to go here and see what course they're in or what section of that course that they're in. You're going to be able to see in real time where everyone is, what they're doing, and you can actually send specific things all in that one place. Now, I hope that this tutorial, while fast, was actually helpful. I hope that this is going to give you a little bit of insight so that way you can still have the same type of products, but not have to have that huge stack and all of those monthly memberships. If this was helpful, please make sure that you go up there and you hit that subscribe button, so that way you will get notifications when I put out more content. I also have an Apex community. You can email me to get that. It's totally free. And what it's going to do is it's going to put you in a community of fellow business owners who are all trying to get through using GoHighLevel. And if this was, while super amazing, but you think that this is a little too much from you, make sure that you email me directly. My email's right there. It's just Jackie@theapexinitiative.ai. You can email me any type of problems that you're having. I can try to go ahead and show you quickly, but if you're like, yeah, no, I just want you to build it, you can also reach out to me and I will be able to do that for you. Guys, I hope this was helpful. Make sure you hit subscribe, like, share this video with another GoHighLevel user that may be missing out on some of the things that are great inside of the system. Have a great day.